Yo, YouTube, we back with another one. So today we're going to be speaking on DRose 600. I'm pretty sure everyone knows him from hanging out with Chief Keef, King Von. He was from 600, he was a member. And basically we're going to be speaking about who made statements on him, who got him locked up. This was for the shooting of Venzel Richardson. So let's get into it. So on this page, they're basically explaining the incident. So this is where Darrell Johnson, which is TWD Money, he passed away about 2 years ago, so rest in peace to him. But he basically testified on what happened, that they were walking down the street, walking on Vernon with a couple people. I think it was like 4 of them, including the victim. And a white van pulled up, the door slid open, and someone ended up firing shots. And the victim was shot multiple times, once in the head. And they basically ran down the street but came back, and someone called the cops, so the cops arrived on the scene. So this is the section where the detectives went to Johnson's house. He was only 13 years old at the time, so his mother had to be there, and they asked him questions, showed him lineups, but he denied recognizing anyone in the lineup. And this is where it got weird, because the court proceeded to ask him if he knew Rondo number 9 or C-Day, which is really weird. But he said he heard of him, but he didn't know him or anything like that. So the detectives again went back to his house and showed him pictures and different stuff like that. And his mother had, or someone circled the picture of DRose and wrote their initials on it. So they asked him about it in court, and he recognized his signature but said that he wasn't the one that circled it or signed it, which is really weird on the detective's part. But basically they just kept going to his house trying to get something out of him. But in court he was acknowledging that he had spoke to the detectives and went to the station, but didn't acknowledge pointing anyone out or recognizing who the shooter was. So this is the funny part right here. This is the part where Johnson basically, him and his mother went to a police station and met with the assistant state attorney. And that's where Johnson basically spilled the beans. That's where he told them that they basically videotaped the interview, and he told him that he could observe someone in the driver's seat and said it was someone known as JB, and that the shooter was DRose. And I guess the van pulled up pretty close to him, and the victim that got shot was right in front of Johnson, and that's why he was the one that was shot multiple times. But he identified them. He basically, and then he pointed DRose out in the lineup as well. But this is the funny part. I guess in court, he denied all of it. He denied pointing DRose out. He denied his signature being on there, and he denied speaking to the police that day. So I guess these guys just like feel comfortable telling when they're in a room with detectives or something like that. But when you're on the stand, it's a different thing. You're in front of the person that did it, everyone in the courtroom. So I guess they just start backtracking or something like that. But this is where Jerron George, which is TW Mook, this is where he starts explaining what happened that day and what he saw, and basically giving his side of the story in court. So George basically gave a description of the shooter and said he had red pant legs and a white sleeve. And I think later down the line, they found something that matched that with DRose, like one of his outfits or something. But he denied pointing anyone out in the lineup. He spoke to to the ASA as well, and basically denied informing them of anything, and he had to go with his mother as well. But when they asked him about basically some questions they had asked him, they said, "Did you identify anyone in the lineup?" He said, "No, I didn't." And they said, "Did you point someone out though?" He said, "Yes, it was a possibility." And he said, "But I wasn't sure." So these couple statements and other things that the detectives were able to grab onto basically got DRose convicted, because there was no video recording of what happened. They didn't have him on tape. They didn't, nothing like that. So it was basically all through eyewitnesses, but the detectives were pressuring them heavily to say certain things and going to their house multiple times and stuff like that. And there's a bunch of shady stuff going on in Chicago with the detectives, because I mean, they did the same thing in the Rondo and C-Day case. Like the girl said that the detectives forced to look in their phone and were pressuring them to say certain things. Like, there's a lot of shady stuff basically going on with the detectives. And they did the same thing in this case. Like, they went to D-Money's house like four times, and he denied a bunch of the stuff but that they were claiming that he said and stuff, but they still used it against DRose in this case. But that just goes to show, like, how bad the detectives and the police wanted to take down DRose, Rondo, and C-Day, because, I mean, they'll do that. They don't play fair. Like, when they want you that bad, they'll make stuff up. They'll bring up lies and stuff like that. Like, but at the same time, it just shows what type of guys these were in the streets. They were really out there doing stuff if the detectives wanted y'all that bad, to where they're gonna make up lies and do the extras on it, you know. But I mean, let me know what y'all think. Drop a like, comment, and I'll for sure be back with another one.